If you suck at something, don't do it. That's right, Christie Majors tells you exactly why in this episode of Fearless Flipping. Make sure you are liking, commenting, reviewing, and subscribing so that you can continue to get our awesome content. If you want financial freedom, time freedom, and want to leave a legacy for generations to come, you probably have heard real estate investing is the place to do that. How do you get started? What do you have to do? When's the right time? If you are looking for those answers, you've come to the right place. My name is Kyle Stanley, and this is Fearless Flipping. My mission is to help you learn this business and conquer real estate investing. Hey, welcome into this episode of Fearless Flipping. I hope you are enjoying your day, and I hope that this episode gives you some awesome value on how to outsource your life. That's what Christie Majors will be mainly talking about in this episode, along with some awesome information about Subject 2 and how that was a light bulb for her in her business. But before we get into that, I gotta definitely give a shout out to someone who commented on our videos recently. That was Ryan Nunez. He said, "I really want to grab more knowledge, but this feels foreign to me. What do you recommend to get more of an understanding on real estate and investing?" So Ryan commented on a video that's going pretty, I wouldn't say it's viral yet, but it's definitely getting a lot of attention. The video is called "Is Cardone Capital Legit?" If you have not seen that video yet, make sure you go check it out. It is my review on Grant Cardone's Cardone Capital. That's a whole other story, but what I would like to say, Ryan, is make sure you've gone to our homepage, fearlessflipping.com, filled out that form on the front page, and that will get you your free ultimate guide to real estate investing. That will get you all the information you need to feel like you can really pick one lane without putting on the blinders and ignoring other exit strategies. That can help you to really understand, though, which lane you want to be in so that you can move forward in your real estate investing career. So I also hope that this episode with Christie Majors, who is both an agent and an investor, will help give you some light bulb moments so that you can go out there and start to conquer real estate investing. Let's check it out with Christie. This lovely lady to my left is Christie Majors. She is both a real estate agent and an investor here in Fresno, California, and she is a hoot. So we're going to have some fun today. Christie, thanks for being on the show.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So first question, got to start off with, what is your most interesting or weirdest real estate investing story or real estate story, since you do both?
I'd say there's about 100 of them. Probably my funnest one was a seller moved out, took all the belongings. I was about to give keys in about 30 minutes to the new buyer, and I did a walkthrough. And I opened up every cabinet, every closet to make sure there was no personal belongings left. And then there was the basement. And so I opened up the basement to clearly make sure there was nothing in there and found a lot of plants.
Of which kind?
Of a narcotic kind with a lot of leaves and a lot of lights. And so I had to call the seller and say, "Did you forget something?"
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Well, and I guess it's not as big of a deal anymore because now it's legal here in California.
It's legal. I just didn't expect it because I'm sure they were not leaving that as a gift to the buyer.
Thanks for selling the home. Here you go.
Here you go.
Cool. Well, so let's jump into it. You are one of the top producing real estate agents in Fresno. Just from both the agent side and the investor side, I want our audience to kind of hear just the volume of what you're doing so people can get a grasp of just who is on our show right now.
Okay, so typically I sell over 100 homes a year. I run team majors at Keller Williams Realty, and the team has done, as of Friday, 100 transactions this year.
Wow.
Year to date.
And we are not even in September yet. So
correct.
What's the goal, 150? How many do you want to go for?
The goal is 150. I definitely didn't see this one coming. It's an extremely hot market that no one saw coming with the rates low and lack of inventory and multiple offers and all the stuff that's going on right now. It's just been a little bit of a whirlwind this summer.
That's awesome. So that's on the real estate side for being an agent.
For residential.
Residential.
Just residential.
Okay, which means that you're also doing what else?
I pick up rentals, so I buy and hold. I'm doing a couple flips, and there's some wholesale instances that I've been a part of, and then subject twos.
Okay, how long have you been doing the investing side?
I bought my first rental when I got in the business 10 years ago. Didn't do it again until 4 years ago. And when I go to have a tenant in the house, and the seller wants to sell the house but does not want the seller to move. I give them 3 options. Okay, we're going to put it on the market, and you need to give 60 days or 30 days, depending on how long the tenant's been there. And we have to ask their permission to do showings, and you're going to get this price point. If they're not going to allow showings and you're going to go blind, you're going to get this price point. I will buy it at this price point and keep your tenant in. And that's how I've gotten my rentals.
So you either will do the traditional sale, or you'll offer to buy it from them and help them just get rid of it right away. Now, when you offer to buy it for them, do you sometimes take that and just go ahead and wholesale it to someone?
No, okay. That's how I've been getting my rentals. So I currently have 9 rentals.
That's great. Very nice. So that's on the rental side. What's kind of your criteria for what you look for in rentals?
So I really like tenants in it because then there's no turnover. There's also no remodel. So if I get a broken down house and there's nobody in there, and then I have to drop another $20,000 to make it livable in the top of the market rent, that's another 20 on top of my 20% down. So having the tenant in there, I may do some repairs that the seller didn't do, but I'm not dropping $20,000 until they move out. So that's an instant return on my investment if I just keep that tenant in. And usually it's below market rent, so I increase the rent. Even if it's only $25, if they want to stay, I'm not going to kill them into, a $300 increase. But then when they leave, that's when I'll do the remodel. And by that time, I've probably picked up another flip and made money that I can go redo this one and keep it as a rental hold.
So you see your ROI being better when the tenants are there and you can keep them, but you just raise the rent when you take over. We kind of jumped into this right away, but I want to take a step back and really get to know your story because you've been here for a little bit and you've really been able to plant your flag here in Fresno, California. But the other side of it is, you had that transition, that mindset shift a few years back where you also started getting into more of the active side of investing with flips and whatnot. Right. So let's just start from what brought you into real estate. What were you doing before that?
So I was born and raised here. I went a Clovis West graduate, 1990.
Did I tell you I'm Clovis West?
No, I didn't know that. Okay, go Eagles. So that 1990, I left town. So I went to Las Vegas. I went to LA. I came back when I was 30. I got married. All is said and done. I got remarried when I was 37 years old. So in those first 7 years back in town, I was a commercial loan officer. So I was playing with the big boys, buying buildings, financing trucks, financing equipment, that kind of thing. And when I met my amazing husband, Bobby, he was in sales at an escrow company. And so he was trying to get my business to get my escrows from my commercial business over to him. And when I got divorced, he's like, hello, I'm available. Yeah. So I started dating him, and he's like, why don't you just go do residential real estate? I'm like, there's no chance. I'm not doing residential because I do commercial. And so he said, well, we're going to have children. You're going to want to have an easy life. You can go to all their school events. You can go to all their sporting events. And what he didn't know was I don't do anything half.
Yeah.
ASS. Nothing. So when I got in the business, I went right for all my center of influence, all my business owners, all my friends and family from being raised here, and put out the word I'm in real estate.
Wow.
I also contacted all my banks that I had done lending on the other side with, someone that had brought the buyer and they were doing a commercial deal, but they had their own lender. So I called all them and said, hello, bring me business.
So you had this influence and these relationships already. It was an easy transition.
It was an easy transition.
Wow.
So I started doing real estate as a buyer's agent, and then I went off on my own and catapulted into a business. So what happened is when I got to Keller Williams 7 years ago, they said, we're interested in helping you grow your business. And I said, what business? I'm a realtor. They said, no, you can own your own business under Keller Williams. I said, well, what can I do? They said, you can do anything but property management because you can't have a license as a realtor, you can't have your license under 2 things. Only a broker can. So that's when I started the team. And I started getting an assistant, then I got a transaction coordinator, I got buyer's agents, and this whole thing has been going on really for about 5.5 years. Well, as soon as I got my time back, that's when I went after the rentals. And that's when I started talking to people about coaching me into subject twos and wholesales. And so it kind of came organically when I got my time back
Okay.
instead of me doing all the production.
Okay. So you mentioned subject twos, wholesales. You're doing some flips too. You had told me as well that you went to a little bit of a training outside of Keller Williams, and they had to kind of kick you in the butt, right, to see that?
So for a year and 3 months, I have been training under Metrics. Metrics training is they've taken about 15 agents from across the country, and they've done an extreme mastermind once a quarter somewhere in the country. 2 weeks ago, we were in South Carolina. 3 months ago, we were in Phoenix, and we all come to this one meeting room, 2 days of this intensive training. And what happens is that Brian Gupernick and Brett Tanner do train us on something. We all read a book to the next quarter. But then all the agents have to stand up in the room in front of everybody and tell their bad things and their good things and what they're doing right and what they failed at in the last 3 months.
Okay.
So you're on stage, and unbelievably the biggest thing happened is like I paid attention to this one guy. He said, this subject to, and I didn't put my money down. And I said, wait, stop a second. I have to buy a rental or even a flip with 20% down and have a loan. I'm not doing this cash. I'm maximizing the cash, but I have to put 20% down. I'm an investor. No. I went to the seller and I said, I'll take over your mortgage. Yeah. It blew my mind. And I'm sure everyone before me has always heard this word of subject twos, and I've heard it happened here in Fresno a while back before the crash. But then investors didn't keep it up. They said, oh, well, I don't want to pay it in, so I'll let it go to foreclosure because it's not under my name.
Right.
Well, I have a license. The last thing I'm going to do is let something go to foreclosure when somebody else has the note, right? Now that's a bad thing on me. And so he starts telling me about, well, I paid her $2,500 to move out. Her mortgage was 3.375. There was 11 years left, and I got the note. I said, $2,500. What about repairs? I told her, don't do anything. Here's $2,500, move out. My heart stopped. And I got on the phone with Bobby, and I said, you're never going to guess what we're going to do next. And that's how that happened.
Wow. So let's pause for a second, because subject to is something that has become very, very exciting for me as of recently as well, especially with I'm building an Airbnb business, and to find that I can own a home and just take over a mortgage that's exciting for me to scale that business. So when it comes down to it, people who are listening right now, break it down for them in layman's terms. What is subject to, and how do you have that conversation with the seller as well, so that they can understand it?
So let's pretend you're the seller. Okay. Now you've called me to come list your house. So this is a little bit more of what a real estate does, because I'm not a non-real estate agent. So I'm getting called for a listing. And you say, I need to sell my house. And I say, okay, well, here's the comps. It's $200,000. And well, I owe $205,000. But I can't make the payments anymore. And I'm current, so it's not a short sell, but maybe I should just short sell it. Maybe I should just let it go to foreclosure. I said, okay, or let's not affect your credit. Both of those things are going to affect your credit. So let's do some math here. Let me check the market rent. Let's say it's $1,500, right, for this 3-bedroom, 2-bath, $200,000. And how much do you need to go rent? Well, I'm going to need first and last. Okay, that's probably about $1,500 that you're going to have to pay somewhere. So that's $3,000. What else do you need? Well, that's it. I just don't want to do any repairs. Okay, so let me see your mortgage statement. And then I look at it. I figure out when's the start date of that mortgage, right? So we know how many years are left. And then I look at the interest rate. Because if I'm buying it, I'm at 6% as an investor.
Absolutely.
And I'm 20% down. So I say, okay, so this is my question to you. You are underneath this, and when I go to sell it, even on a reduced commission, you have to write a check. She's like, you say, I have no money in the bank account. I said, or I can give you $3,000. I can walk you through how every time I would make your mortgage payment, I will send you a copy of the check, the cancel check. Not just the check, the cancel check. So somewhere around the 10th or 11th, you're going to get either for you to tell me on email, text, or in the mail, a copy that I made that mortgage statement. I'm going to now get the mortgage statement, so but you're still on the loan, so you can call anytime and check up on me. How does that sound?
Very good. I'll take it.
Okay, so now I'm going to give you $3,000. You're going to go find someplace to live first unless it's paid for, and now you can be assured I'm not going to affect your credit. Now, for me, I'm going to walk around the house, and I'm going to find out if it really would entail $1,500 rent, right? If there's a leak,
Right.
if there's something that's broken. And when she moves out, I'm going to quickly do all of those repairs. And then I'm going to advertise for a $1,500 rent. But her mortgage is $1,100.
There you go.
So instantly, I have a $400 buffer here of an ROI on $3,000.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay? But now I can write off the mortgage interest because I'm now an owner and I get the 1098 at the end of every year because the mortgage company now sends it to my address. Now the kicker from metrics is, and this is not done this yet, is cost segregation.
Okay.
Because you can get a cost segregation done for somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000 on this rental and run it to the CPA. All of a sudden now you've got another ROI.
Hey, Fearless Flipping community, we are taking a quick break from the podcast to talk about Airbnb. For those of you that don't know, I have built much of my residual income around Airbnb, despite a lot of other investors being really excited about long-term renters. I was not. I saw an opportunity with Airbnb to get to my goals faster, to get more cash flow, and to pay off my houses quicker too. So instead of being really happy like a lot of other investors are with $200 to $300 of cash flow every single month, I've turned my renters and rentals into over $1,000 on average of cash flow every single month. So if you want to learn more about Airbnb, my systems, where I pick my Airbnbs, how I communicate with guests. Maybe you've already got Airbnb as a business on the side right now, but you want to take it to the next level. I am absolutely here to help you. You can book a free consultation with me about Airbnb. Learn more by booking at fearlessflipping.com/consultation, and you get me for 30 minutes for free. That's right, 30 minutes absolutely free. And that's once again fearlessflipping.com/consultation, and I'm looking forward to helping you conquer Airbnb investing.
So really quick, cost segregation. Let's talk about that. Define that for our audience really quick.
So I am not an expert in this at all because I have not done it yet. I just learned this.
Okay.
But the theory is that the cost segregation will take the depreciation on the first year. So you may have a high income on a 1099 or W-2, right? Let's say this $200,000 home, there's a $40,000 depreciation. So I can take it in the first year and my taxes now have dropped by $40,000.
Wow. Yeah, that's big time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So now it's a $400 income a month and a cost segregation and a mortgage interest write-off. So even if you want more than $3,000, I'm probably going to give it to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's recap that really quick. So you are taking over their mortgage. You are taking over their interest rate as well, which is great because if you're going to go out and buy an investment property, you're at the best going to get a 5.5, 5.6 at the very best, more likely about 5.8 or higher. Whereas they have
3.3, 4 even.
Crazy amount. But you're really, what I liked what you said, you're identifying what they need. You figure out first, what do I need to make this for you in order to make this a win-win? And already, as long as you just help them get out of there without having to take money out of their pocket, it's a win-win. But now you're taking that extra step and saying, hey, let me help you get into your next place. I love that.
Well, the thing is that I'm now making her mortgage payments, right?
Yep.
So in 6 months or so, when now you get to make another chunk of money in your bank account because you're not inundated by this house and the utilities and everything that's going on. When you're ready to buy, aren't I your first phone call as a real estate agent?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And you don't have any negatives. You didn't go to foreclosure, you didn't go to short sale, and you never missed a payment. So now I take you to, Bay Equity and I say, here you go, now go buy a home. they're going to ask for the rental lease, but they're going to hit it probably because it's not an all-in, right? But they're going to hit them and only hit them with the DTI, the debt to income ratio, is not the entire mortgage payment.
Right.
They're going to get a 70% credit of the lease, which is $1,500.
There you go.
So
Wow.
if I run the numbers right, what they're getting hit with is exactly the credit of the exact same mortgage payment, right? 70%, $1,500, their
Wow.
payment's $1,100. Now, it hasn't affected them at all.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. Well,
But that's a long-term plan. This is
Sure.
not a one-hit wonder for me. It can be for someone else. That's not how I'm playing this.
yeah. So let's talk about that. How, when you understood this and saw this light bulb go off, how has it affected your business since then, and where do you see your business going now?
Well, it wasn't a light bulb. It was more like, hit
Hammer
me
over
in the
the
head. Like, we've been telling you this for a year. Why didn't you listen? Well, because I didn't understand it.
Right.
So my thing is to make the win-win. I think that whenever it comes, for me, I'm not all investing, right? This is a side that I've started. So if I run into it and it's beneficial to that client, I will do it.
Yep.
But if there is anything that will, you're not comfortable, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to walk you through something else. Maybe a short sale is your best way. But I think that the uncovering now of not getting a no. So most agents would say, oh, well, you owe 205. I can't help you.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly.
So then they leave and this is a no. Well, just don't take a no. Don't let the no is now my new motto. Like, because there is a yes in some way, shape, or form. And it is the short sale. It is the foreclosure. It's the wholesale. It's a subject to. It's anything else other than just selling. And I think with a license now, I can do all of it. I don't have to do just one thing, and I don't have to be in a box one way. So that's where it's changed.
Absolutely. So now, with these subject twos, are they all rentals that you're seeing, or do you see that being an opportunity for a flip too?
I would say the flip, again, I use Excel spreadsheets to go buy and hold or flip. So it depends on what the picture is. In 3 months, if I have this other flip, I've been waiting for this short sale or foreclosure to happen, whatever that next one is, if I need the money, and this subject to came right now, I may say, I need this flip to do that.
Absolutely.
But that's why I don't think it's a one-hit wonder. It's the big goal. So I've heard a lot of the agents say, where's your big why? Where's the long game? Because if you just go, yay, I got a subject to, I don't think that's the play. I think it's the long game. And if the long game is, at least for Bobby and I, if we can 1031 exchange all of our rentals and head to the beach,
Yeah.
when our kids graduate, and I happen to be 62 when the last graduates, then I've done something right. That's my big why of doing this. So maybe someone's big why is the vacation they never could afford, the house they can never afford, and they just do this until the house, it's all cash for the house they really want. You just have to have that big why. And if you don't, you're messing with other people's money and you don't have the right mindset to have that conversation.
Well, and that's where we look at this business, and it's not cookie cutter for every person. For me, I want to get into passive income as quickly as possible. The whole side of flipping and wholesaling is great, but I don't see that as $50,000 that I just made and woo, I'm going to go spend it on a vacation. I see that as that's the next property I'm going to buy, or that's the next passive income stream that I'm going to create because I just made that 50 on a flip. So for you, what it sounds like, if I'm understanding correctly, is that you're fitting in these puzzle pieces to figure out, or to also get towards that end goal of kicking it on the beach.
Right.
Yeah. And so with that being said, with 9 rentals right now, how many do you eventually want to have?
I think it's a number of the value, not the number of rentals. So for me, my big why is not the passive income. It's the dollar amount that I can 1031 exchange. So what do beach houses cost?
A lot.
Right. So if I've got to go to Redondo or Avila and I need $10 million, now I need a lot more, right? But those properties will come organically and not forced. Because what if I win the lottery and it's all fixed, then I need no more rentals. But the flip money, that I do the same thing you do, I make the next one. So I think that bucket, this slush fund of money that's now occurring because there's subject twos or flips or passive income that all goes into this slush fund, maybe that is one big flip that I never thought I'd do at $600,000, right? But it's a big, when you play big, the return's big. So I think that if you just have an end time frame and you back up what you have to do, that's a plan, and you just try to hit these little goals. Because I think if you try to say, I really want 25 rentals, it will get overwhelming. Can I do 2 more this year? Can I do 1 more this quarter? Can I find 3 subject twos by December 31st?
Absolutely. Reverse engineering, yeah?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. I think there's a lot of people right now, too, that want to hear from an agent who maybe they're an agent now, or maybe they're thinking, hey, I want to get into real estate, but I don't know if I should be an agent. I don't know if I should be an investor. Let's just talk for a second about, like, when you started to do the investing side, and I'm more so talking about the flips and the wholesaling. When you got into that side, did you feel like that was, man, I should have been doing this all along? Or do you feel like your bread and butter is the real estate agent side? Like, just kind of talk me through that like whole mindset. I don't even know if I'm asking this question.
Well, you
right,
are. You're making me think.
Yeah.
I think that there was an experience I had at Metrics that we wrote down everything we did. 100 things. Everything you do, from the laundry to taking kids to putting call the lockbox guy, call the sign guy. I mean, everything you do in your entire life. And we had to put down a C on everything we were not capable of. Okay. And then an E of everything we were excellent at.
Okay.
And an EP for everything you were excellent and passionate about. Now, the crazy part is, because I have 3 sons and I have a real estate team and I'm in production. So there's a lot on this list, 100 plus things, right? The funny part was the excellent and passionate was 8%.
Okay.
Now, the room I was in at Metrics, it was sitting around 30 and 40%, and I was at 8.
Oh, wow.
And they're like, how long is it going to take you to get these C's off? So when I started doing that is when I started seeing that when the subject to conversation happened, it hit a passion. Because it was fixing something about what I was looking for, but it also fixed somebody's credit, where that's a passion for me. Because I was a commercial loan officer, I need everyone's credit to be at a certain level, right? So to answer that the long way is, I think that being an agent helped me find the passion for the investment. But as another EP, is giving keys to a homeowner is the biggest thrill of my life. They can both exist. It doesn't have to be one or the other. So I don't think that I would run into as many investments if I wasn't a realtor, because I'd be, some of the investors are mailing, door knocking, calling, and all that stuff. I'm organically finding it. So for me, I think I can do both. I think I'm passionate of both, and I think investment found its way to an answer to some of my real estate problems.
That's awesome.
Or residential problems.
I think this right here, first of all, I know how much you pay for Metrics, and you just gave us some gold, so hopefully you don't get in trouble with them. But I think this is an exercise that we all need to do. And I just recently started writing down all the things in a different way that I don't like doing and need to outsource quicker. And I've already found that I've got a lot more time to focus on the things that are more important for money-making activities. But this is a different side of it. This is focusing on the things that you just love doing. Not necessarily that are money-making activities, but just what you love doing. Am I right?
Yeah, because I think that what I'm excellent at, I can even get off my plate. And those are money-making things, I can hire somebody to make these calls for me if I ever wanted to make calls for investments, right? I don't have to be the one to do it, but I can promise you I'm pretty excellent at doing it.
Sure.
Okay? And being capable at something, I can do laundry very well. I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
You know? And luckily, there's this nice little company here in town called Laundry Fairy.
Okay.
And Laundry Fairy, you put your laundry in the basket and you put it on your front door, and it goes away and it comes back folded.
So now we need to get them to sponsor this show.
But I also found a sophomore at Fresno State that was looking for a side job, and I'm paying her to come to my house 3 hours a day and do the things around the house that are all my C's.
Wow.
And now I'm teaching her some of the things, right? Now I'm coming from a teach, not just do my laundry, but I'm teaching her why you put whites over here and why you're doing this. Maybe she had a parent that taught her, maybe she didn't, I don't know, but I'm also teaching her another way, right? Take the good and bad and ugly from everybody you learn
Absolutely.
from, make it your own. So I'm now empowering this 19-year-old girl to run a household with 3 boys.
A system outside of business. It's a system that's in your family, and now it sounds like it's creating more opportunities for you to put your time into the EP things, which what is that doing for your business right now?
Well, it got me to 100.
That's great.
I mean, I would say half of the reason I'm doing what I'm doing is metrics. Because you can't pay that kind of money and not come back and make changes.
Absolutely.
You don't even get to get on that coaching call and say, no, I decided not to do it this time. Brett Tanner's going to say, what did you just say to me? Why are you even paying me to call you? Right? So I think that half of my changes is because I'm listening to experts. I'm listening to webinars. I'm having conversations at a very high level outside of Fresno, right? And outside my comfort zone. But the other half is a drive to be passionate about something new. At 47 years old, am I just going to do the same thing over and over? I know how to sell real estate. Is that all I'm going to ever do? So I think that for me, it's just a new chapter of my life.
Absolutely.
This is the longest job I've ever had. I mean, I'm fully passionate about real estate, but I don't have to do one thing in it to be passionate. Then I also think that if you don't have leverage, so I have leverage, which is why I can talk about investments. If you don't have leverage and you're a woman and you're trying to take care of your house, your kids, your husband, and do real estate, I think there's a rub there if you don't delegate. Like, I'm perfectly okay delegating my house. Some women are not, right? So there's a rub there that now I have this extra time that someone sitting next to me doesn't have. And now I can talk about investments and I can do investments. Because your bandwidth as a human being can only handle, this much. And investments are not let me just sign this piece of paper. It takes time, effort, meetings, numbers. It takes brain waves to do this stuff. And if you don't have the bandwidth, you can't do it.
Exactly.
So that's what I think the rub is. I think we can all talk numbers. All of us women get together. I'm a part of the Women's Council of Realtors. There's a bunch of women in that room, and we talk numbers all day long. But I don't think it lasts past that 1 hour. As soon as you walk in the door, and I got a 4- and 6-year-old trying to say, Mom, 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 look what I colored, right? Our brain isn't thinking that. Where maybe a husband came home at 6, maybe he got the food ready, maybe he's watching a game, maybe he's doing all daddy work. But I don't think that's the norm. Maybe they're coming home late from work.
Right.
Everything's done. It's not like 1920s again, but
Sure.
There's still an imbalance. Not every household is 50-50.
Absolutely. Well, I think at the end of the day, and I don't want people to think that, if you're going to be on the investment side, you don't have to be building relationships. You do. You have to be building relationships. I think it's a different type of relationship.
It's the trust factor.
It's the trust factor, absolutely.
I believe residential real estate goes a lot of like than trust. But I think investments are like trust.
Yeah.
You have to have some serious trust to take over someone's mortgage, or serious trust to say, I only want $100,000, but I'm gonna let you go sell it to somebody else. Like, they better trust you that you're not screwing them out of money.
Or some serious trust that if you bring a wholesale deal to a flip or a fix and flipper, that they know that, hey, Christie brings great wholesale deals to me, so I'm going to trust that this is exactly what she says it is on paper.
Right.
So that's awesome. Okay, well, we have talked for a long time.
I know.
Usually we break this thing up into 2 episodes. We just went the whole way. So I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do with this episode. But I would like people to have the opportunity to get in contact with you. How can they do that?
I have a website called teammajors.com. That's on the residential side. And then my number is 559-464-5606.
Cool. One more time is Team Majors, TEAMMAJORS.com. It's 559-464-5606. We talked about a lot. We talked about how to outsource your life and how to be an agent versus an investor. And we talked about subject twos. We just went all over the place. I hope everyone got a lot of value. I know everyone got a lot of value out of this. Is there anything else that you want to end with, some imparting advice?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for having me. It's such an honor to be on this show.
Absolutely. Thank you for helping our viewers to conquer real estate investing. We'll see you next time.
Lots of great nuggets there. I hope you got a ton of value from Christie Majors. Just go to our show notes to recap all this. It's fearlessflipping.com/Christie Majors. Christie is spelled Christie. Majors is exactly how it sounds. So make sure you're going to the show notes. Make sure that you are implementing that, house manager. I really like the idea of that. I've got a lot of assistants and a lot of people that do some things for me, especially with Airbnb. I have a house manager for my Airbnbs, but not for my current living situation. So I wonder if that should be something that I look into. I don't have any kids yet either, so it might not be something I need quite yet. But anyway, I hope this definitely helped you out today, helped you to conquer real estate investing. Check out the show notes, and we will check you out next time.